Welcome to the stage, Ali Soufan.
Thank you. Thank you. It's extremely embarrassing. I could not be more honored and humbled to stand before you here today, and I could not be more embarrassed in hearing all my friends and buddies saying all this very nice, undeserved words. It means a lot to me. It means the world to be in the company of friends and colleagues and former colleagues. I don't think you guys can be former colleagues, can you? Yeah. I must begin by thanking the James W. Foley Legacy Foundation, led by Diane Foley, for the tireless work you do, and you work every day. You and John and Margot and Amy and everybody in the foundation. You champion every day for Americans who are held hostages, how to bring them home to safety. And you advocate every day for the safety of journalists around the world. So Diane, thank you very much for all this great work. At the heart of all this is Jim's story. It's Jim's legacy. It is in honor of this brave American journalists that we are all gathered here today. It is Jim's moral courage that will inspire generations of Americans to keep fighting for what's right. It is Jim's moral courage that brings us here today. So I must begin by thanking the Foley family and for sharing much of Jim with the world and for bringing together this wonderful community this evening. Over my career, I've seen firsthand the devastating effects of war, the devastating effects of conflict, the devastating effect of hatred and its impact on the world. I have seen the devastating impact on families and on communities, societies, and nations. But wherever there was darkness, there was always lights. Wherever there was despair, I always saw hope. There were always people like Jim Foley, people like Kayla Mueller, people like Steven Sotloff and Peter Kasich, who showed up to offer help and to offer kindness to people who needed the most. My career took me all over the world, including to some of the most dangerous places. And in those places, I always, without fail, saw fearless and courageous journalists, aid workers, doctors, humanitarian workers, people who are serving civilians who are caught in violence and conflicts, sacrificing themselves, giving, expecting nothing thereof. And so we always knew that we could not fail them. We always knew that we have to do whatever we can to be sure that they return home to their families and loved ones. It has been an honor and a privilege to work alongside friends in governments, in law enforcement, in the intelligence community, the diplomatic corps, media, NGOs, our colleagues, especially the unsung heroes of the fusion cells, led by Chris O'Leary. Thank you. People like Roger, Karsten, thank you, and so many others who work behind the scenes tirelessly, not only to bring Americans home, but to build together a community of people and assure that everybody comes home. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we fail, but always hostages and their families deserve our everlasting support of justice and accountability. Today, and on the 7th anniversary of Jim's murder, I am honored to accept this award with the promise that I will continue to hold on to the moral courage given to me by Americans like Jim Foley. I will use that strength to keep pushing for answers, to keep pushing for actions, to keep pushing for accountability for American hostages and their families. And I know I can count on the support of so many here today. This award would not be possible without the support of so many of my colleagues and so many of my friends. But above all, I would like to honor my wife. Unfortunately, she's not here with us today. And our 3 boys for joining this mission with me. I hope they promise that they will be watching virtually, but I know I cannot compete with YouTube, nor I can compete with Fortnite. I must also thank my friends. I am completely moved by the kind words that I heard today. It's very humbling. Thank you very much for your feelings of love and kindness. I promise that we will continue to work together for our country and for what's right. And I want to thank families, hostage families, like the Foleys and the Muellers and the Kasichs and the Sutloffs and the Levinsons and many others who have mobilized the world in support of their loved ones. I'm honored to continue to stand with you until justice and accountability has been delivered. With that, I can only end by saying that we achieve more when we work together. Governments, international organizations, NGOs, the private sectors, and advocates of hostage victims and their families achieve more when we work together. And today, more than ever, our community of hostage advocates will need to remain steadfast across the world, from Sahel to Somalia, from Yemen to Syria, from Iraq to Afghanistan. More and more territories are controlled by militants and adversaries who mean us harms, people who are not going to discriminate if you're a Republican or a Democrat, or what's your race or what's your creed. As long as you're an American, you are their enemy. We need to work together in order to guarantee that every American comes home. As our world becomes more dangerous, our work becomes more important than ever. There is much to be done. There are hostages like Austin Tice and others waiting to return. And I look forward to standing shoulder to shoulder with you all for our brave Americans who must always come home. Thank you, and God bless you all.